Our eyes are still on the just concluded Ekiti governorship election. We're looking at administration. We're looking at the performance of candidates. We're looking at voter education, if there was any advancement. So let's look at that process yet again through the eyes of one of the candidates that contested for the top job in Ekiti State. And joining us now is Mr. Ayodele Olani, the People's Redemption Party governorship candidate in the just concluded Ekiti governorship election. Mr. Olani, it's good to see you again. Good morning. Welcome to the morning brief.
Good to see you too. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad that you are all smiles this morning, regardless of the outcome of the election. I was looking frantically over the weekend for your performance, but it has now come through. At least you are top 10 in the list of the performance of candidates. So you didn't stand a chance at all, Mr. Olani.
That's what the result says.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, sometimes when you look at electoral results, you sometimes laugh. Do you get what I'm saying? And popularity sometimes does not get interpreted by what we have as the results of the elections. I mean, this is not an indictment on anybody or any organization to say anything was done. But the truth is, the true popularity test, when you look at it, it's entirely different from those results that we have out there. Thank you.
But you couldn't have won, could you? And even the other contenders came a distant second and third with 40,000 votes and 12,000 votes for the ADC governorship candidate. So you knew from the onset that you couldn't have won this election.
If I knew I couldn't have won, I wouldn't have come out to contest in the first place. I was contesting to win, so I wasn't contesting for playing or whatever. However, you know, efforts are put in and you get different results. There are different permutations that determines the result of elections. You know, your geographical, political. How do I put it now? You know, in a state, they say somebody's from, for instance, in the Ekiti State, we have people from Ekiti South, people from Ekiti Central, people from Ekiti North. You know, and sometimes you also look at the other candidates that you have in that place, whether they are settlements, aside other things that one will be unhappy to talk about, talking about vote buying, intimidation, and quite a number of factors that lead to whatever results you come out at the end of the day. Yeah.
So let's hear from you now. What is your assessment of the process in its entirety?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I will give it to INEC in a way and then take it away from them on the other hand. Number one, I think this time around, I noticed, at least in my area, I can only be at one unit at a time. We had our polling units, polling agents all over, and the reports they gave, I think there is an improvement from INEC about sensitive materials, arrivals, you know, places, only a few places that we have polling agents reporting that the materials arrived late and voting started late. And we also had one or two places where we had issues with beavers, you know, and somehow they were able to move around it. But the real issues that I see about this Ekiti election is not really about that. It's about the fact that we need to look more deeply into our electoral process, you know, or processes. Number one, the main issue we've seen here is vote buying, you know, and it's something that we need to curtail if we want our democracy to survive. You know, there's what they call buy and see. There's what they call see and buy, you know, and it's unfortunate that that dominated the case where even people that are your own people that are loyal to you, because of politics of tokenism, because of poverty that has been weaponized, you find a lot of people leaving capacity, you know, quality representation for immediate gain, you know, and that's so painful. I mean, there are videos all over the social media. I'm sure you have quite a number of such videos where, you know, under democracy, if you want to have an election, fine. Many people can run in the race. One person is definitely going to win. But if you are going to win, let the winning be free and let it be fair. So about the process, I think there are a lot of things I noticed. Of course, I will be honest here. Maybe that will change the outcome of the election. That may be a different thing. But what I'm saying is, whatever it is, we must ensure that we look at our processes and make sure that the processes are right. That's what I would love to say for now, unless you have other questions you would want me to talk on that.
Yes, that's what we brought you, because we have plenty of it. It's our job to ask the questions. Your job is to answer the questions. And I want to be direct. Do you think Biodun Oyebanji, the incumbent who has just been re-elected, deserves this victory?
The results say so. He's the sitting governor, he's the incumbent governor, and of course, that naturally gives him that advantage. I am sitting here, I've not been governor before. People have seen what I've done in different areas in the past, but not as a governor. So naturally, that's an advantage. Of course, that's a clear advantage, not a negative one.
I'm not asking for advantage. I think I'm asking you a subjective question. We are, all of us are seeing the data, so there's nothing new about the data. We've seen he won by the data that is announced by INEC. From your objective point of view, does Biodun Oyebanji deserve this victory? That is just my question.
The word deserve is what I have a problem with. He won. Do you understand? If the voters voted for him, it means he won. He's our governor. He's my governor. He's a sitting governor. And that's what I'm saying. I'm answering your question objectively. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if somebody has won an election before, if you say, does he deserve to win? Obviously, he deserves to win. Do I deserve to win? Yes. Do other candidates that are qualified deserve to win? Yes. So the result of the vote, I've said he won. And I don't have any argument with that whatsoever. My argument is with the process. And that process is not questioning his victory. I needed to get that right. I'm not a bad loser. They say he who fights today and loses today loses to win another day. Do you understand? But what I'm saying is that we need to all now sit down and look at the process. The fact that you deserve to win and you won does not mean that we should all not sit down and look at the processes that led to that victory, whether deserved or not.
All right, we're going to come to that process. So you are saying that you lost square and clean, because I can see that from the numbers available to us, you scored less than 1,000 votes, which brought you to the 9th position.
Clearly. Yes. Clearly, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I scored less than, yeah. That is the truth.
Yes. So let's talk about the things you're not quite comfortable with. Let's binge through them one after the other. So let's start with number one. What exactly did you observe? I know you mentioned a few in passing. Perhaps we mentioned it while we're talking with Mr. Jekepele. What did you see that makes you worry about the state of our democracy and this election in particular?
I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier. That's vote buying. I mean, it's something that makes me sad, you know. It looks like, if you look at my campaign, I've been on your program before. I came out with clear-cut agenda on how to set our people free economically, you know, infrastructure, development, and all of that. But it looks like because the poverty level of our people is so high, people go for whatever they see, gratification they have on the day of the election, such that you can even have your family member follow you, who loves you, and then the person gets to the polling unit and discovers that there is some money available that they, what do they call it now? Diboko Sebe in our language here. You know, somebody has 5 children and notice that is going to get 25,000, you know, per vote. And you do that simple calculation, you have 25,000 times 5 plus the dad and the mom, that's about 175,000. That's about 2 months' salary, looking at minimum wage. So a lot of people go for that. I mean, so it may not be that may not be exactly what people want to vote for. It's like that particular theory where you keep people poor, you understand, so that any direction you tell them to go, they go there. I mean, it's worrisome for me. And the fact that we don't seem to have any solution in view to that. This has happened in previous elections, not only in Ekiti State, in other places. And I've watched your program, watched so many other programs, talk about vote buying. But the question is, what has been done to curb all of this? There are factors that led to it, and there are factors that can help us, whether not to eradicate it, but to bring it below tolerance level. And that is my challenge. Vote buying especially, it's a very strong challenge that we have here, you see. And when you also look at the issue of apathy, I think I heard the gentleman that spoke before me talking about the percentage, or maybe you were the one. The last election was about 36, 37% voter turnout. Now we have between, is it 37 or 38% voter turnout?
Yes.
We have 1,059,000 registered voters. When you still look at that number, you see that it's still very, very low. And then you have to sit down and look at the factors that led to that. You know, you discover that majority of the people that come out to vote may not actually be people that understand what leadership is about. That's not to insult the mentality of our people. A lot of people who understand more about who should be the best leader, but most of them sit at home because they don't trust the system at all. When you don't have enforcement that gives the right penalty to people with electoral offenders, you find these things continue over and over again. So, like I said, I'm not a bad loser. I've had people contested, even the former president of our country, contested quite a number of times. We have that all over the world. So if I lose today, I can win tomorrow if I still have interest in contesting in the state. So I'm not a bad loser. I'm only trying to say that we need to now look at the process that led to the victories that we have, at our polls. It's very, very, and I think that, okay, for instance, if you look at some of the videos you have here, I see one you are playing on the screen now, there must be secrecy around voting. I'm a participant, and I think I should be able to speak on this regardless of whether, if people want to vote, there should be secrecy around it. Snapping of ballot papers, you know, these are things we should look at. Because if there's no secrecy, then it enhances or encourages vote buying. You know, interestingly, we must look at it from two angles now. There's a difference between vote buying and vote selling. You know, it's two sides now. So if we want to look at it, we must deal with the two. So that is a very, very strong challenge that we had with that election in Ekiti State. The governor, I was on this program and I told you that in Ekiti State, I do see everybody as one. That's why we call it Ekiti Parapo. The governor is my brother. The PDP person is my brother. We are contesting at the election. The elections will come and go. All of us become one family. I've been preaching peace, and I will continue to preach the peace before, during, and after. But what we should look at is, if I'm going to lose, let me lose honorably. Looking at the results now, if I come here and I begin to argue that I won, I mean, it's going to be laughable. So I have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to get back to business and do serious work. Thank you.
You know, Ms. Alani, some would say, I haven't heard the civil society say it this time, but in past elections where there are concerns of vote buying, the report would often be that most of the political parties were complicit in perpetuating vote buying. And so I'm wondering, is it a challenge of a lack of capacity that made you unable to have participated just to get a bit more votes? But that's on the one hand. But more importantly, on the other hand, is the challenge of mobilizing voters to come out and exercise their franchise. Earlier on, our guest was speaking about this being the responsibility of INEC, but there's also a huge level of voter education that lies within the purview of political parties. Would you say that political parties have performed well in this particular function? If they have, would there be any need for vote buying?
Now, see, I said earlier, I acknowledge the fact that I and my party, we have a lot of work to do. And we're going to get back into our boardroom and then review this and look at what we can do better than this in terms of voter mobilization. The truth is, opposition has a lot of work to do. I take responsibility for that we have a lot more work to do if we're in opposition and we want to come in. However, like I told you, about the fact that there are issues that we must look at. You said that things have been done about that. If I got you correct, because I'm not sure that I heard all what you said. See, our electoral process is too expensive. There are things that government, our laws, need to be reviewed to allow. There's what we call free election. There's what we call fair election. You know, if you are going to have free elections, do people come out to vote without any fear, without any intimidation? You will understand that we had some pockets of that. And I'm not going to point an accusing finger to one particular party now, because you find out that some of these political parties, I mean, many of these political parties are involved in it. I can tell you for free that the party I contested from, PRP, we did not involve ourselves, even if we have the financial muscle to do that. We did not. You also know that it's a crime. It's a.
Oh dear. We hope to get Mr. Olani back again to conclude his thoughts on that particular important aspect of the conversation, which is vote buying. And while we wait for him to return, Ms. Olani, I was asking if your inability or your stance on vote buying is because of your inability or lack of capacity to, indulge in vote buying. You know, oftentimes the concern about prosecuting elections is if you have the war chest, and we all understand what war chest really means. That is the financial wherewithal to prosecute the election from the campaign level, the purchase of forms, and of course, even during the election, to try to mobilize voters to vote either via inducement or house-to-house approach, at campaigning and mobilization for the election just to get ahead. And so that's also another critical part of it. The People's Redemption Party, your political party, was relatively, unknown. It was not amongst the first three in this contest that was considered a three-horse race between the APC, the PDP, and the ADC. And so my question to you is, if you had the capacity, and I hope you're hearing me now, in case we're able to get you back shortly to conclude your thoughts on that particular point, is if you had the capacity, wouldn't you have, indulged in vote buying as well? And wouldn't this be, a mere hypocritical commentary as far as the reforms, the approach to reforming our electoral process is concerned? And it's a critical part of the conversation, Jeffrey, because, you only speak from where you stand, from your own political standpoint, from your own minimal experience, as the case may be. And when we say the power of incumbency speaks to, a lot. The state might, the financial wherewithal, even, security agents who, also are working more often than not at the beck and call at of the incumbent at that particular point in time.
Well, only him can answer the question. Whether if he had capacity will indulge, I can answer for him. He's a politician and I'm not. But it's just a sad tale to see that I don't see it going away pretty soon. And the reason is simple. There is not enough enforcement of the laws against this kinds of attitude and, behavior of the people. And some people will have a moral argument to the fact that things are difficult. So what do you want the people to do? So they have this one opportunity to get one or two things from the political class. So if you get from this party, get from that party, you're able to take care of your family at least for a very short time. But that's being short-sighted as far as democracy is concerned. As much as we respect the difficulty and understand the challenge of the economy on the lives of our people. But we'll continue to talk about it, continue to, raise awareness about it, the danger thereof of vote buying. But the political class, if there's a day, because I have always said to you, lower your expectation, moderate your expectation. When it comes to expectation from a lot of the political class, just moderate it. to a large extent, because there's no disappointment where there's no expectation. If you're expecting them to change from not buying votes, it's going to be far from reality. What we can do is to use the law to curb it. But Bukola, we'll take a break, right?
Yes,
and when
indeed.
we come back after this break, we'll get to another part of the conversation. Stay with us.